As promised, I am making the box EV or expected value or average return, whatever you want to say, for the Time Spiral Remastered booster boxes. So if you were to buy one, what would be your expected average value that you would get returned if you opened every single card and sold them? Not including the commons or uncommons, because they just do nothing but throw it off, and it's kind of hard to sell like a 45-cent uncommon, just saying. And like allegedly every common's worth 25 cents, but good luck getting that out of it. So this only includes the foils, the mythics, and the rares, and then of course the purple cards, as you can see right here, of which there are 121, and there are a lot of assumptions made in this video because we don't know the answer because Wizards isn't telling us. So these numbers might be off by a bit. Sorry, that was driving me nuts. Anyway, the purple cards, they go from 60 on down, and considering there's one per pack, they had said, and it's not in the rare slot, it doesn't take the place of the rare slot because there's still mythics and rares in the set. So it's just another card probably behind the mythic or a rare. Those are pretty decent. I mean, it's not bad. You go about halfway down, which would be right about there. You're still at like $4. I guess there's just a lot more $4, $5, and $6 cards than I anticipated. You try to feel it out in your head and you never know until you actually just do the dang math. So even down here on the very bottom, it's like, well, $1 to $2. Okay. I mean, the bare minimum one is $1. Now remember, I'm using Card Kingdom's current pre-order prices for that. Keep that in mind. So right here, right now, $8.11 is the average, which seems about 4 times higher than I would have anticipated it. So we'll circle back to that. I'll put all the modifiers at the end of this video. So the mythics, not bad. I mean, I'll just cut right to the chase. The average is 1407 because of mostly these top end ones. So yeah, I mean, there was a couple good money mythics. No surprise there. Even the bottom one's okay, whatever. It falls off pretty quick, but that's just how mythics work. I mean, with this being kind of the middle right here, that's still not bad values. I mean, considering it's going to be around, I think, 180 to 200 a box. Divide that by like 36, you get like, what, $6 and something per booster. In the store, I think they're probably going to be closer to 7, but it depends on your area, depends upon your currency, depends upon your import tariffs and all that stuff. So, and then there's sales tax. So it's like, hey, everybody's different. But I'm just saying, if you were to pull $6 to $8 out of a pack because you got a mythic, okay. And then anything below that is bad, anything above that is good. So it averages out to actually higher than the median price, which is $14.07 right here. Or that's what the average is. So decent, but you can't count on mythics because look how many rares there are. And I'll explain why there's 2 columns in a second. So they're identical. The average rare value is $3.92, which is, for a reprint set, pretty awful. But it's pretty obvious where they put the money in this one. Just saying. It's half Time Spiral Remastered and half Eternal Masters, where it's just a complete and utter free-for-all in the purple slot, with no rhyme or reason or pattern, other than stuffing money into the set, obviously. So yeah, $3.92 not good when the packs cost, double that. That's pretty bad. But here's the thing. What about, well, you could pull a mythic or a rare in the, quote, rare slot. So what's going on there? So I did just copy this over. $8.11 purple slot average value at 1x per pack, which that's, you can just take 8 and multiply it by 36 right now, and you can see where this video is going, just saying. But like I said, there's a little more to it than what I'm showing on screen, so I'll explain it. Mythic average 1407. Why did I even copy these? You just saw these. Okay. So combined rare slot average is 518. Now, why don't I just average these two? Why don't I just add this together twice, then average these 3 together as 3 values? Because it doesn't work that way. My understanding of how they do the printing is this formula right here. I'm sure that makes perfect sense. It's the average of this, and this. So mythics are printed at half the prevalence as rares, and I assume they don't mean at a card for card ratio, because how would you do that? There's like 52 rares and only 15 mythics. Like, how would you do that? So for every individual collectively 15 mythics, so 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 all the way down, there are 2 of every individual rare. That's my understanding of it, and people have told me I'm right about it. So the majority of people, some people said I'm way off on this, but haven't explained themselves. So, well, the majority of people, some people didn't explain themselves at all and just said I was wrong, which obviously I dismissed immediately. And I guess because there's more of these than these, so the prevalence ratio doesn't work if you just take 392 and then 392 and then 1407 and average those three numbers. It doesn't work because you're doing an average of an average, but these aren't equivalent because they're a different quantity. I didn't think that's how math worked, but apparently it is. So, I mean, there it is. So the rare slot is worth 518. The purple slot is worth 11. Yeah. So people ask me to explain how I do the math on here, which is why I'm really breaking it down. So if you're not interested, I mean, well, you could probably just see where this is going, or you could fast forward through the video. But the mythic count is 15 uniqueness. The rare count is 53. The uncommon count is 100, and and the commons are 121. That's how many unique cards there are. So this is where it gets really complicated with the foils, which we don't know if it's one foil per pack or one foil every 4 pack. But what I do know is that they claimed about 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, that they are no longer doing a 1-in-4 ratio for the foils. They're upping it to 1 in, I think, 3.7 is what it was. Maybe 3.8. I kind of guessed down here that it was 3.7. So if they preserve that for this, which is not a standard set, then okay, my numbers are correct. But 1 in 4, 1 in 3.7, when the foil total value contribution is so low, it's not going to throw off the numbers by much. Just saying. But like I said, we had to make some assumptions for this video. So that's the number of unique cards in the set. Ish. I mean, you'll look at the number, it's slightly different. There's reasons I'm not going to explain it. Then, adjusted for mythic half prevalence, which I was going to call kind of like the lowest common denominator, but it just kind of acts like that. I don't really know how to explain this other than if mythics are half prevalence in the set, in the rare slot, and then you get 3 of these, but you don't get 3 of them in the foil slot, then theoretically, the total divisible denominator for all probabilities is this number, because it's 15 plus 53 plus 53 plus 100 plus 100 plus 121 plus 121. Because I think these are weighted equally by unique card count in the foil slot. I think Wizards actually did confirm that. And then the rare is counted twice, and then all 3 of them are counted twice total, compared to the mythics, which are counted once. I suppose I could have just cut this in half, because it's half prevalence, and then added these up normally, if that makes more sense in your head. But basically, I wouldn't have a whole number, then I'd have 7.5, which, if you want a denominator, it can't have a decimal in it. That's okay. So anyway, so your chances of getting a mythic foil are 2.66%, because it's 15 divided by 563, which is the true, like I said, lowest common denominator to divide it. Now, would you still get the number if this was 30 and this was, 1,000 whatever doubled? Yes. But the ratio here, the fraction, this is the lowest common denominator you can use and still have a whole number. So, okay, we're done explaining that. I mean, it either made sense or it didn't. So your chances of getting a rare foil are 18.83%. Feel free to leave a comment down below responding to the person who requested I break down all the math in this. But if one person asks, that's enough people. I do it. This ain't that big of a channel. So the mythic foil value contribution is simply just the average price of a mythic right here, the average of 1407 multiplied by your chance of pulling it. Real simple. So it's just $14 times 2.66%. So in, 10,000 packs per pack, what is the contribution total to the total value of everything you pulled of just the mythic foils based on their price multiplied by the chance you pull them, on average, obviously? It is 37 cents per pack across all those packs. If you were to open that many, it would be that consistent. So that's what that number means. So then the rare foil value contribution is 73 cents or 74 cents. Yeah, I know there's probably some money foil uncommons out there, but I'd have to put the uncommon value into an average, and then I still think 25 cents is off, and then, what's the foil? 35 cents. So I'd almost have to cut off the bottom and then separate those out by probability, and I've got a better solution. Ignore them. Ignore the foil uncommons that are above like $5 and actually worth selling, because there's just so few of them. Honestly, I think I did it once and the contribution was 4 cents. And I said, why did I even waste my time writing them all down? Because I had to copy each one of these values down by hand. Yeah, that's a treat. So the combined rare foil slot value contribution is just these two together, and you can flat add them because this was already... It already considers the fact that mythics are half because of that being correct based on that. So That's why I do it that way. So the average foil, just foil period, is worth $1.11 because only, I think combined with these, 21.4% of them are going to be a rarer mythic and the rest aren't. So that's just how that works. So that's where you get the $1.11. So then, if only 1 in 3.7 packs have a foil in the first place, you have to reduce this by, roughly 75%, like whatever that is. Basically, it's this value times 1 divided by 3.7 in parentheses. Because you have a 1 in 3.7 chance, whatever percentage that is, of pulling it. So yeah, the foils, not much. The foil slot is 30 cents. Now remember, the purple slot is $8.11. So it's like you can almost just write off the foils and ignore them. So the total pack value is let's see, what did I do here? There we go. It's the purple slot plus the combined rare slot average of the mythics and the rares adjusted for probability, plus the potential of having a foil. So it's those 3 slots that exist in every single pack. And by in every pack, I mean the foil slot is there and it's either empty or it's not. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully this whole video makes sense. So yeah, the per pack value is $13.59. So you multiply that by 36, you get $489. Okay, that's above Masters 25 and Iconic Masters per box. Which, I mean, even those, it was kind of tougher because they had 24 packs, which, it makes it 50% harder to pull tons of value. But yeah, that's almost $500 a box in value. Here's the thing that you might think, well, sign me up. I'm pre-ordering it right now on eBay. Don't try and stop me, Des. I already paused the video and already ordered it on eBay. Well, you're going to regret that when I tell you that these purple rarity cards are all in the old frame. All the new mythics and rares are not. So just the purple rarity, the time shifted cards, are in the old frame. So if you watch my video showing off the values of the cards as they were spoiled, so the spoiler videos, Card Kingdom seems to be under the impression that a card is worth 3 to 4 times more money just because it's in an old frame. But it's like, how can you have a nostalgia blast about, this card that was printed in 2018 being reprinted in an old frame? Oh yeah, I remember when it was in the old frame, except no, I don't, because it wasn't. It was never in that frame. So I don't get it. I guess if somebody, they want the oldest one to show off because it looks more expensive, that might be an angle there. But everybody's going to say, isn't that just a BFZ card? Isn't that a card from Origins? Isn't that a card from Throne of Eldraine? So a lot of people who played way back in the day, they have a preference for the old style because it's what they learned, it's what they're familiar with, even though it is objectively better, more visible, more readable, and more clear with a better font and better coloring on the new frame and the new cards. It's what they saw first, they got used to it, and then there was a change, and everybody hates change. I get it. You're wrong, but I get it. So if you want your Commander deck to be all the old style frame, like pre-8th edition or whatever it was, whenever possible. So you're going to buy the oldest copy possible, not just because, look at me, I've got an unlimited, I got a alpha, beta, I've got look, this is from, Mirrodin or whatever. It's worth so much money and I bought the most expensive one because I'm such a baller. Other than that, if you're just aesthetically, if I want my entire Commander deck to be the old frames just because I like them, okay, I could see a small amount of people having a preference for that, but it's do they really think that somebody's going to take a $5 card and pay $20 for it just because it's in the old frame when we know damn well it isn't actually the old version of the card? In fact, the copyright date on the bottom of all these says 2020. No, I do not think that. I think that is utterly ridiculous. It's a complete fantasy that these are worth what they are asking. And it looks like their pre-sales numbers, from what I can tell, are just non-existent, basically. So they're just trying it. They're just kind of testing the waters. And then I think when they see the sales numbers right around launch or shortly after it, they're going to drop these by just 50% across the board. Realistically, 75%. Like I said, in my opinion, they are 4 times the price that they should be. But let's just be nice and take $8.11 and cut it by 66%. So that would be $2.70. So I'm just going to put this in hard. Here we go. What does that do to the box value? There we go. So I think the purple slot value average at $2.70 is a little more accurate. Now it drops them down to $8.18 a pack, and the pack should cost about $7, just saying. And then the total box value is just under $300. And you could probably round it up to $300. I mean, there's some worthwhile tokens or some foil uncommons, whatever. That's probably worth another $6. I mean, it's 36 packs. You'll find $6 somewhere. And remember, now every week after this comes out with the reprints and all that, the people flood the market with like buy lists and eBay and TCG Player and all that stuff. So it goes down. Like you're going to lose like 10 to 20% drastically off of every new set and every reprint set as time goes on. You know, yeah, 3% of the cards will go up because of a sudden demand, and then the other 97% go down. So by the time you get this in your hands, get them opened and get them sorted and get them sent in for a buy list like a week later, you can just take this and reduce it by 10% right off the bat. So there goes $29. So then you're at like, you know, mid to high $200 for a box that you probably paid $200 for. Not great. I mean, it's not bad. It's better than buying it under, but it's not great. It's not as good as, what was it before? Just short of $500. Which is ridiculous. I can't wait. I'm actually going to do a video on this. I'm going to take probably a weekend when Card Kingdom opens up their purple rarity old frame buy list prices. I'm going to do the average of those 121 cards. And we're going to see what they're paying for the cards. Not what they're asking for them for sale, what they're actually paying. Because if they're actually willing to put their money where the mouth is, that's where they would do it. So if that averages down to like $1.50, we're going to see that, you know, $14 or $8, whatever the hell this was not very realistic. So in my opinion, the EV is closer to this, but if I reverse it to the actual numbers as they sit right now, it's this. Could it be somewhere in between? Maybe. I mean, it's hard to say. So you might say, okay, Des, you're saying it's either like 270 or it's 490. Those two numbers are far apart. Yeah, it's just that, in my opinion, that's how far off Card Kingdom's prices are. It's my opinion based on my experience selling cards for like 8 years. You know, I'm just saying. I could be wrong. The demand could go up for the old frame cards. This $8 could hit $10, and all of a sudden we got $5.50 a box. In which case, yes, you'd be out of your mind not to like order 4 of them and then open them all and then sell the singles as quickly as possible. You would like double up on your money. I mean, it's just free money. And that's like scalping, you know, PS5s or whatever, except more accepted. Except more accepted by society a little bit. So, given this information, would I pre-order it? No. And remember how I said I'm going to circle back to all the assumptions? I'm assuming that every single one of these purple rarity cards is printed at exactly the same prevalence or rarity. Some of them used to be mythics, some of them used to be rares, some of them used to be uncommons and commons. So if these purple cards are printed unevenly, and the big money cards are like 4 times less of them are being printed and pushed into the boosters as like everything on the bottom, oh yeah, you can take that and change it right back down to about $2. So Wizards is completely silent on this. They kept referring to it as a sheet, a bonus sheet, which strongly suggests that the purple rarity cards are printed 1-to-1. Now, could they have like a former mythic sheet and then like a rare sheet? I guess, but I think there's like, somewhere between like 52 and 100 cards per sheet. I've heard differing numbers, but it's like a lot. And we're talking physical sheet, like comes off the printer, let's put it on the cutting machine, let's turn it into a card, you know, like as in the sheet prevalence. Now, what they do for standard is they do mythics and they just repeat them. You know, they just go repeat on the sheet and then they cut them. And then they have a drop card so that they print them at an even amount, contrary to popular rumors. Oh, by the way, there's a rumor going around that within like the mythics and the rares, like just to fill up the sheet and make like an even number, they'll have like 1 or 2 mythics that are duplicated on the sheet. So then eventually you pull like 1 twice as often. I opened 10 grand worth of BFZ and put them all in piles, every rare and every mythic on a table. And none of the piles were twice as high as another pile. So, I mean, there's your experiment. I'm not saying they never did that in the history of Magic, but at least for BFZ, there was not some secret sub-rarity of mythics and rares. No, I would have noticed if I had a pile of 200 of one rare and 100 of the next one because they duplicated on the sheet. What they have is drop cards. It's a barcode that when scanned by a laser says drop and it tells the sorting machine to drop it and recycle it. That's how they actually handle it. But I think I saw somebody said like a statement from the staff confirming, yes, there are some cards that are printed twice on a sheet just to fill up the sheet. but they either didn't know what they were talking about, or that's how they used to do it, or it's in the common and uncommon slot. Oh, and actually, I thought it was Mark Rosewater, and I thought he said that they do it for, like, the reasons of draft. But then that would heavily imply that it's an uncommon or a common, because those are way more important in draft. You wouldn't just, like, drop or, like, double the rarity of one given rare because it's a problematic card in a draft when you can't count on rares at all in a draft. You know, so I think he said, like, removal spells, they'll sometimes, like, I don't know, cut them off a sheet, or they'll duplicate another one because it's a really needed card. It's like an answer for a draft. So I'm not saying they don't do it at all tactically on purpose or on accident in the lower rarity slots, but I am telling you from my experience opening 10 grand worth of boxes, which was like, what, 120 boxes or 140, something was ridiculous. They don't do it in the rare and mythic slot. So just let's lay that rumor to bed, because I'm sick of people saying it. Everybody was like, the fetch lands and Khans of Tarkir are printed at a lower prevalence. No, they weren't. I mean, unless they printed that one differently than BFZ, but I kind of doubt it. Just saying. Well, that one really good uncommon black kill spell that everybody wanted, that one people were saying that it was printed at an artificially low prevalence. I mean, I can't speak to that, so... Well, we're doing all the math and numbers and rumors and conspiracy theories and everything in this video. So anyway, I wish I had a harder number than it's somewhere between like 250 and 500, but that's just is what it is. And I would almost like when my money's on the line, I wouldn't be like, I'm going to be optimistic and go with this number. Yay. No, I'd say, well, I'm going to assume it's the lowest one. I'm also going to assume that all the big money purple rarity cards, these are printed at half the prevalence as everything lower on the line, because they used to be a different rarity, and they're not, just taking 121 cards and printing them 1-to-1 the end. So let's just, take this value and throw it off by at least 50%, which is what it would do. And then also Card King's prices are BS. You know what? The purple slot is actually worth $1. And then it's like, oh, now it's $2.33 a box. Yeah, I shouldn't touch it. Like, if you're going to risk money to try to make more money, you should go with the most pessimistic outlook and the most like the mathematically lowest number from all of the possible combinations of unknown factors that were not disclosed by Wizards. Anything else and you could be in for a bad surprise and lose some money. If you guys want a clarification, you could email Wizards. You can ask Mark on his blog. I mean, whatever. But like, he doesn't work in production. He works in card design, and he's usually the one who like interacts with the community and answers questions like this. But I guarantee he'd either ignore it because he doesn't know, or he would answer it that he doesn't know. Sometimes he goes to production. He'll like email or call them and be like, "Hey, the people are wondering this, and I want to put it on my blog as an answer." And he'll actually go get the answers. So like, good on him for doing that. He does. I mean, as much as I hate him and what he's done to the game, he does interact with the community. He does take the time to answer some questions, like more than you would expect a normal staff member at a company. So that's nice, at least. But yeah, I think that's the only way we're going to get an answer. So anyway, this video's going on long enough. I literally about an hour ago just broke my toe. So I've got to go take more painkillers. I would go to the doctor and get it set and get it looked at and x-rayed and have them see if I should do anything about it, but that would cost me one entire month's paycheck. So, fuck that. It's tax season next month. And I owe more than I have, so I'm already probably going to declare bankruptcy in 2021. Woo! Welcome to America. Hey, go support my new channel, which I just applied for monetization on, Emergency Survival Tips. It's probably going to outperform this one in money at a certain point. But yeah, I literally can't even get a job for 2 weeks while this heals. I was looking for an IT job. I'm not even going to apply now because I can't even like get in the car and go to an interview with a broken toe. So 2021's giving 2020 a run for its money. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. And I'll see you guys next video.